Alright, welcome back to the backmarker update. Today we're going to be looking at the Bahrain Grand Prix with in the F3 series. Luke Browning for High Tech Racing won the race. The sprint race was won by Len Blad for Prima. So good job for both those two gentlemen. But of course we're going to go over the highlights. Not a lot of highlights. We're going to go over the stages, not the stages, the race results of the backmarker cars, look at the points, and then I'll give you my general thoughts. But this is my first time watching F3 first race. I joined mid-season, so I'm not as big of an F1 fan as I am an American motorsports fan, NASCAR and IndyCar, but I mean, I'm going to try and do my best here. So this is my first draft. Hope it goes well. So the highlights for the Bahrain Grand Prix. The sprint race had a multi-car wreck that took place, but honestly, both races were pretty quiet for my American standards of excitement. Not a lot of caution cars. It was mostly just pure racing. I guess that's pretty good. Mostly for what I can say. Formula One is Formula One, Formula Two, and Formula Three. It's mostly just pure racing. Not a lot of crashes, not a lot of cautions, not a lot of caution cars, not a lot of penalties. There was really only one big penalty that we'll talk about. It was a grid penalty from the sprint race, and yeah, it's mostly just green flag racing for the most part. Not a lot of issues. So of course we already talked about it. Luke Browning for High Tech Racing winning the feature race. The sprint race was won by the number 3 of Averid Lindbad. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that name wrong. I'll try and get better. The back markers, we'll talk about their finishing results, but Mansell, I do have to point out, back marker in that 23 car, he got a second place run-up finish. For a back marker car, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. He's shown good prominence so far. I do want to shout out in the right-hand corner, the penalty box, the 19 of Zagazeta. I really hope I pronounced that name correctly. Got a grid penalty from the sprint race, had to start in the back. Pretty much the only penalty, so, I mean, for the most part, I mean, it's this third top series in the world for racing, so high standard. Not really going to have a lot of penalties here. Looking at the back markers for the race, we're going to talk about all 12. The only big disappointment was for Lech DNFing in that Van Amersfoort car. But let's talk about all the other ones so far. Leon, the number 20 of Leon, +1, 12th place finish. That's pretty mid-pack. 22 of Smith, 22nd. That's pretty much in the back. +5, but a +5 is still pretty good gain. Gains are always really good. I mean, it's for most of these, they started really far in the back of the field, but still got gains. So, I mean, most people won't see the average of gains, but I think if you can outperform the equipment, I think the equipment shows that if you qualify, that's your equipment. If you can finish higher than your equipment, that shows you're better than your equipment, and you deserve to be in a better ride next year. Case in point, Mr. Mansell here in the number 23 for Art Racing. Started 8th, good qualifying effort, finished 2nd. +6, he's showing pretty good speed. For Art Racing in general, starting of 8th, 12th, and 11th, I mean, that's pretty good for a backmarker team. Van Hoopen -3, finished 15th. The top 15 for Art Racing is still pretty good. And Tosfolo didn't get any gains, so he finished exactly where his equipment gave him, so pretty solid there. For PHM, 23rd, 18th, and 26th place finish. Not finished start is pretty average for the backmarker team. Pretty much one of the worst teams. Worst team in F2, second worst in F3. And Inthra finishes 20th, +3 gain, pretty good. Bedrin finished exactly where his equipment gave him, so pretty solid driver. Dufek, -1, started 26, finishes 27th. Not good when you're starting so far back in the field and you somehow manage to finish worse. Pretty bad finish for Dufek. And then Roden, the worst team in the series, starting 19th, 26th, and 21st. Obviously, no one started in the back because Zagazeta started in the back, so this team was given a plus for not starting in the back. But two of their drivers had poor nights. One of them had a somewhat decent night. Wisnicki in the number 30 got a +1, finished 25th. Still finished better than his equipment, so I do have to call him out on that, but just somewhat good night. I mean, it could be looked at that Floresh DNF'd, so that may be the only position that he gains. So I guess that could be looked at as that he just finished exactly where he was. So still solid night, but pretty disappointing overall for Rodin. Started 19th, finished 21st for Voznin, -2. And number 31 of Loke started 21st, finished 23rd, -2. For the worst car in the series, the number 31, I mean, that's all you can hope for at that point. But pretty average day for the backmarkers. So if we look at the points, Browning is leading, +4. He's got 25 points over the field. Mansell in that 23 car for a backmarker, only 7 points behind in a backmarker car. That's pretty good. Van Hooper, also another backmarker, had a pretty decent night, -15 so far. I mean, this is the first race, so it can change very quickly. But early success for the art cars. Van Hooper, -15, not that terrible. And then the 25 of Tosilov, I mean, -18. I mean, being this close in a backmarker car is pretty good. I mean, if you're looking at these numbers here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you've got 23, 24, 25. I mean, that shows you already that there's some backmarkers already up here in this top 10 for points. But anyway, pretty average day for F3. Pretty much incident-free race. There were a few incidents on pit road, but not that much to deal with. Browning just got a dominant win over the Art for the Prima cars. Were able to pull away from the field. Congratulations for him and High Tech. Hope they do well. But anyway, like if you like, dislike if you don't, subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you guys in the next race. Toodaloo!